Bienvenue, mesdames et messieurs, dans un autre épisode de Conversation avec, ici, sur Keyboard Kimura. Je suis votre hôte, Spencer Kite, et mon invité aujourd'hui est le point plume de l'UFC, Charles Jourdain.
That was such
How do we
beautiful.
do? How do we do?
Oh my God, I love it, man. Thank you for yeah. The French, I see you. I like it.
breaking out grade 10 French, breaking out family growing up in Cornwall. Charles Jourdain is in the building. Thank you, my friend. How are you?
I'm very happy to be there. I remember you were one of the first one who gave me the chance to be interviewed back when I fought in Korea. I think yeah, we were on a different time zone, and you took the time to interview me. So being here after 4 years now, I'm very happy to be talking with you, my friend.
Yeah, we will get to the 4 years. We will get to some of our previous conversations
Can you
because
hear me
they're,
properly? Oh,
yeah, of
it's
course.
lagging.
No, we're good.
Am I? Oh, okay. All
You're
right. Got
good. You're looking sharp. Pirate life is here. We start the same way always on this show. We will get to, as I said, some of the previous conversations we've had, all the different journeys. But we start with Charles Jourdain. When did you fall in love with combat sports?
When I knew that something that I thought was illegal was legal. So I thought like I was being a criminal for wanting to punch someone in the face. Then I'm like, oh, people can do that and not be in trouble. So, but we're all a little bit intrigued about it. We all want to, like, I got a funny story about it. Like, when I was younger, I got threats, and there was a guy that was used to bully me in my town. He was a fucking asshole, and he was all older than all of us. Like he was supposed to go to the adult school, but they kept him in school. He was like 18 or something, and we were all like 13, 14s. And this guy used to threat me and say, "I'm gonna kick your ass." Beat the shit out of this guy. I would be so happy. And and then I was just curious about fighting. Here in Quebec, we have La Saint Jean, which is a big party that we have here, and there was always fights. Every year there was plenty of fights. People are drunk and they just get into these big brawls and everything. So we were always surrounded by a situation where violence was involved. And I was just curious. I'm like, man, I want to know these things. And people were like, no, get away from trouble, get away from there. But me, I wanted to be there. I wanted to see everything that was going on. So coming back to that guy who used to bully me, it's a funny story because recently I went to the grocery store, and he was the one who was packing my food. So me, I'm in the UFC. I'm having success. I'm enjoying everything. And this guy used to bully people younger than him. I know a lot of people are like, oh, be more mission. Fuck that. Like he was an asshole. And now you're packing my grocery, and I give you $2, and this $2 will change your life. Like they will make your life better. So it was good. I was just looking at him. He was like, man, I'm so happy. Look at you, how successful you are. And I was like, yeah, thank you, man. And
Well, and it's like, thank you, but like, why did you have to be such an asshole?
oh no, he was something like it's not something like just bullying, pushing on the corner, everything. He was sending me death threats, and he was saying
Jesus.
there was nights I couldn't sleep because I thought he would really try to show up to my place and kill me. Like he was a fucking prick. Like there's people like mess with kids and push them around, bully them, tell them they're ugly, they're fat, whatever. Like it was next level shit. So seeing them there, I thought to myself, I won't catch a case, but if there's no camera, I would just smack the shit out of you.
Right.
But I'm a grown man now, so I need to get past that.
Yeah. What was it that gave you that sort of entry into training, competing, learning that this is something you can do professionally and within the boundaries of the law? Like, when did you go from being the 13-year-old kid that wants to find out how he can defend himself to now this is a path I'm on?
Yeah, we started for fun and with curiosity. Everything starts with you being curious, trying something, and I was like, man, I love this. We trained for a whole year, me and my brother Louis, and until they said, "Do you guys want to fight?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." But we were already sparring, and in our mind, that was enough. We were just punching grown ass men. And I remember Louis broke the nose of a like big construction worker. It was just so fun for us to be able to fight these guys, and like all that energy, we would come back to school and we would be relaxed kids. Or the way around, we would be super turbulent when we didn't have the sport. So yeah, we started for fun. We did one fight, and I don't know if you recall Brendan Thatch.
Yep.
He was the big guy with the mohawk, enormous guy, a very cool guy. And he was there when we fought amateur, and he came and see us afterwards, and he was like, "You kids have great potential to be in UFC." And we're like, "Oh my god, the UFC fighter just gave us props." And then it started. My father started taking us to La Cage au Sport, which is the sport restaurants here, to watch George when he was fighting. But the first event that we saw, it was supposed to be George against Nick, but George had, I think, his ACL. So it was BJ Penn against
Right.
Nick D. And that was one of the first fight that we saw, uh, first fight night. And that allowed every 2-3 weeks there was an event. My father would bring us there, eat the nachos and sip like 7 Sprites and just watch UFC all night. And then it just started like organically. It was never forced. My father just was so happy to see that we really enjoy doing some things, and he gave us the freedom to do it properly.
You mentioned in there, obviously, younger brother Louis, also a fighter. Matt Prince got a victory last week. Congratulations to him.
Yes.
Before we started training, or even while we were starting training, what were the interactions like? What were the sibling battles like between the Jourdain boys in the house? Or was it none of that? We just kept it in the gym and we were
No,
always against other people.
no, it's still awful to this day. It's very hard for us to train together. Like my coach, our master Fabio knows it. And no, we're better at helping each other. But like, let's say jiu-jitsu, we can roll. There's plenty of things, but sparring, it's different. Like hitting your brother, and now your younger brother wants to prove
Right.
that and that there's like too much thing going on. So me and Louis, we never sparred together unless it's like kind of flow sparring. But no, and we have two older brothers as well. So yeah, there was four
Oh,
Jourdain
man.
crazy mother. Yeah, my mom's a very strong woman, man. So
five,
yeah,
five men in the house. Lots of
yeah,
testosterone,
the
lots of
father, and
energy.
we had a Berger d'Anatolie. It's like a German dog, a little bit different from the German Shepherd. And we had a big boxer, so it was like too much testosterone in one fucking place. My mom is. I love her very much. She was very strong to handle all of that.
So how did we get from training? Yeah, we'll take a fight. Brandon Thatch says, "Hey, you guys got some potential. What's the next few steps? What's the road down? What's the journey down the road that gets you to two-division champion TKO, rising star in Canada, showing up in Rochester, New York to fight Des Green up a division in his backyard on short notice?"
Yeah, all of it. I'm gonna have to be frank with you. I didn't have posters in my room. I was not like I'm the next big thing. I was never dreaming that much. I was just living it properly. And of course, it was a goal, but it was not something that I wouldn't go to sleep if something bad happened. Everything happened very organically. My wins in TKO, my transition from amateur to pro, my fights in Thailand, everything was just, I want to try. And if you give me a chance, I'll do everything I have to put luck on my side, let's say. So yeah, there's a saying I really like: is the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yep.
And the more I put effort into fighting, I was always at the gym. Like people say, oh yeah, when's the camp? Like to this day, I don't do camps. I just train and train and train. I'm in vacation right now. I'm gonna finish the conversation with you. I got all my training set up over there. Like I just train because I love it. I felt the feeling of being strong, and it was never like, oh, I fight, then I take a break. It's even when I'm in a break, I take a break from competition. I don't take a break from training. I'm constantly in the gym. Otherwise, I'm bored. I don't know what to do with my life. So all of this road that I took was never with the pressure of becoming something. It was just to live it the best I could, because our time is very limited and tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So like like last fight could be my last. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. So I make sure
Right.
everything is lived properly.
Yeah, one of the earlier times that we spoke, you talked about, look, I didn't come from this hard scrabble kind of lifestyle that we hear of so many fighters. Like I grew up in a fairly privileged home. Like we were taken care of. Things were good.
Yeah,
And so I didn't have to struggle necessarily. I had to learn how to struggle within my craft.
yeah,
How difficult is that as a like learning a piece that you have to learn, because this sport is, you know, way better than I do, about struggle. This sport is about working towards mastery and never getting there. It's about going through misery in camp and it
yeah,
still may not work out right.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like one of my biggest fear, let's say, is to put 3 months in a camp, tremendous amount of work, money, and time, and sacrificing time with my loved ones just to get knocked out in 10 seconds. That's like when I see that, I feel for these guys. I'm like, holy shit, that's hard. And you're like, should I come back fast to erase that, or should I take my time? But man, this is one of my the thing that I wish. Well, if it happens, it happens. It's life. But man, that would be something that I wouldn't like. But yeah, it mixes up a lot with what I just said about everything being organic. Everything just flows. And like when I hear people say that it's difficult, of course it's difficulty that you put yourself through it, but it's not life difficult.
Right.
Meaning that my life is not threatened. I know. My master Fabio has a son who had a very rare disease in his brain, and he had a surgery, and makes it that half of his brain was taken out. It was a 36-hour surgery. This kid is the best kid I know, and he just so happy all the time. He speak 3 languages. He has half a brain. Speak Portuguese, French, and English. Speaks 3 languages. Does jujitsu. Plays
Right.
soccer. Video game. He does everything, and he never complains. He's just so happy to be there. And then I see people. Oh, it was hard to get at the gym. It's like, you don't know what the fuck is hard. We don't know it. We
Right.
live Canada. We live in the most privileged place in the world, depending on which area and your circumstances. But when I hear people say their life are tough, I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up. We're good. I mean, it's there's some things like illness. There's some things like accident, like car
Of
accident makes
course.
there's so many uncontrollable things, and you guys have the ability to control some stuff, and you think this is difficult. No, but because you can control some things means you can make it worse and you can make it better. We have control over our lives. There's some people who don't, so we have to be very grateful. And yeah, but mixing it up to towards your question is towards your point was, because I didn't grow up with life hardships, I put myself voluntarily through hardship by making weight, by showing up, by fighting these guys who are heavier than me, by being 18-year-old telling my mom I'm quitting school, I'm working as a security guard in bars to make as much money as I can to go to Thailand. So everything that was hard in my life, I put myself through it in order to become a better version of myself.
What was that conversation like with your mom of, hey, I'm 18,
Cool,
no more
cool.
CJAP, I'm going to Thailand.
Yeah, yeah. She just told me. My parents were never the ones who push us through stuff. They were like, try it. If you like it and it works, keep going. And they were not controlling parents. Like I think 90% of my friends, they would have said that to their parents. They would have said, no, fuck you. You're staying in
Right.
school. You're not
Right.
doing not going to Thailand. You're gonna get killed. You're going to Cuba with us instead. You're gonna see the world in Cuba. Blah blah blah. So, no, my mom was like, okay, just so you know, I'm not giving you any money. I was like, perfect, fine. Like, give me these things that I like. Everything tastes better when you work for it. So my first trip to Thailand, I was working half. I was working half in a bar, selling little cocktails to like 45. It was like a dense place for 45-year-old to 60, like all those uh, all those old women. I was like, oh, you're so sexy, and they were all drunk, and I was like, yeah. It was also all very uncomfortable, but we're very fun. I made my money, and then I worked as a security guard in bars, and there is where that is where I found that alcohol makes people so fucking stupid. It was kindergarten over there, like people drunk, fighting. This guy's watching my girl. I'm like, where? Maybe if your girl is not twerking on the bar, nobody would look at her, like, and I did that for a little bit of time, made good money, but at the end I was like, man, this is too violent. Man, I got into some altercation, and I was like, I can't believe I came out unscattered of this. I hated it and I loved it at the same time. We're
Right.
upset. So talking to my mom, and she's like, yeah, I'm not giving you any money, but just promise me, Charles, if it doesn't work, you're gonna find something else. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna find something else. And no, I went to Thailand, fought twice. First time I fought for Tiger Muay Thai, I beat the little taxi driver, a fat guy. And I was like, no, I want something better. And Tiger Muay Thai was like, no, we need to protect the name of the gym. You need to win. We're not giving you anybody good. So I was like, okay, fuck you guys. I want a challenge. I want to get beat up, in Thailand. So I went to another gym called Dragon Muay Thai, and I told them, give me a good guy, please. So I enter the venue. We go there. I look at the venue. It's big stadium in Patong. It was the Bangla. No, it was in on the Bangla Road, in Patong. And I see this guy entering the cage, the ring with belts. I'm like, and I'm looking at the coach like with side eye, like, what the fuck is going on? I asked you something good, not a fucking champion. And
Right.
he's like, what? You told me you want something good. This is good fight for you. It's gonna be hard. You might get killed, but it's okay. I said, oh mon Dieu, man. Then I look at my coach Eric, and I was like, dude, I won't tell anyone that, because phones weren't a big thing back then
Right.
when I was 18. So I was like, no, sorry. My coach told me I won't tell anybody. We can just leave this place and never come back, and no one will never remember that time that you choked out. And I was like, nah, fuck it. Let's fucking do it. So they put the oil on you, they prepare you, they do their waihu. And me, my waihu is just some few things. Waihu is like a dance to the gods that
Yeah.
you make to say thank you, and try to curse your opponent with arrows and stuff like that. So I do mine around the octagon, and him is like a 3 minutes, and he's like cursing me, like throwing arrows, making big step, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? But that feeling is so cool that I wish that a lot of people would know that. It's like, it's should I flee? Should I fly away? I don't know how you say it in English, but
Yep.
should I run? And or should I stay and fight? I stayed and fight. The guy started destroying me with elbows and kicks. And then I did a fake switch, and I went with a high kick, boom, on his jaw, knocked him out. And I was like, wow. And I was very happy. When I saw he didn't get up, I was like, stay down, motherfucker, man, because that was the most horrible minute and a half of my life. So, yeah, organic, had fun, lived the great moments, and now they're all in the past.
Yeah, and great moments organically that led to a lot of success. One of
Yeah.
the things we talked about a couple of years back, prior to the fight with Marcelo Arroyo,
Yeah.
was you went through the first year of your professional career where you didn't earn a victory, and it was a mind fuck for you. It was a like I've got to deal with this because I've never dealt with this. What's it like going through? What's that feeling like of having a tremendous amount of success? Not that you were undefeated, you lost a couple times on the way up, but you always got to win every year and you were always progressing forward. What's it like dealing with that moment of the success isn't coming now? Now I'm not getting the return and the result that I'm after.
I don't recall having a year without the victory, though. real quick.
Andre Feely and then Josh Cooleybow draw.
Oh, the draw. Yeah, that would make sense. That was a year. The whole year,
Yeah.
I was super active. I didn't thought that was. Yeah. So, oh yeah. So it was in between Rojo and the Korean Superboy. Yeah,
Yep.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Yep.
you're right. Um, yeah, like the ever since I lost in Paris, like the Burgos fight, I didn't give a shit. I was like, fuck you, I won this fight. Fuck you guys, I beat the number 14 in the world. And then you go to PFL and change weight class. But no, the fight in Paris, I was just so drained and so fucked physically and mentally when I got there. And since the fight in Paris until I won against Kron, I couldn't sleep without watching something on my phone. I cannot be alone with my own mind. That's how weird it is to be a fighter because um, it's not depression. People are trying to label it. Even my doctor, which I really like, but it's more a sports doctor, and he was telling me you should go see this guy. He's gonna tell you if you have depression. I'm like, fuck you. I don't have depression. I'm just setting very high expectation of myself for this next performance that makes it that I can barely sleep and I cannot, because every time I try to go to sleep I try to put some calm things in my mind or try to center myself, and then I'm like, okay, when Kron's gonna do this you need to do that, and then my girlfriend feels me like I'm shaking, I'm moving, my brain is just going crazy. So after this fight she actually told me, I'm so happy, like for the first time in the last 8 months you went to sleep without watching anything, without reading anything. You just went and you passed out, and she was very happy about that. And I don't think it's depression, anxiety, all those fucking thing that people want to put you on meds for, which understandable to some people, but for me it's not. I think it's just something I need to deal with properly. And yeah, having a victory changes your mind. It shouldn't affect the way you carry yourself and your character, but it should definitely affect uh, just how you see yourself and how you feel. Uh, yeah, especially in your mind. It like that last victory bring me a lot of it calmed the storm in my head a lot.
We'll get to Kron Gracie shortly here. You said going into the fight in Paris against Nathaniel Wood,
Yeah,
very banged up physically and mentally. What
yeah.
was going on? What were you dealing with?
So in the span of a year, I did 6 weight cuts. If you count from September
Right.
to September with Erosa, also the one that I when I finished T-Wall after that. So there was the Erosa loss. Then I went and fought Ewell at the crazy Sparta kick that went viral. I still
Yep.
receive memes about it to this day. Then I went to fight Tuporia, which didn't
Right.
make weight. And then I went for Vanata a month after that. Then Hurricane Shane Burgos, then flying to Paris off schedule to fight Nathaniel. And normally I rehydrate to around 160. So I dropped from 160 during fight week to 145, which is a good cut, you know. So I dehydrate myself. I start cutting weight, and I feel something's off. Like I'm like, fuck, man, my body's fucking weird. Like I got cramps. I'm feeling weird. I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll go. And even the guy from the PI were like, man, this is not going good. I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm good. I can fight. You know, I've been fighting my whole life. You know, you guys don't know anything. That's how stubborn I was. And then I started the rehydrating process after hitting 145. I get up to 148. I'm like, okay, this is slow. This is very slow. I then every time I would uh, get something into my system, I would puke it. Like every time I was eating something, I was pissing it. I was puking it. It was not fun. And then I'm like, I don't mind. I won't. I will stop checking my weight. I feel I'm getting paranoid about it. So the day passed. I still eat. I still puke. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I can do 3 rounds of 5. It's nothing. I get on the scale before entering because they weight check you before the fight just to see how much you rehydrated and everything. I'm like, oh, probably like be 155. You know, it's not gonna be a big 15, but it's gonna be a 10 pound. You know, I took back. I'm Bart. I got my tuxedo on. I was wearing a tuxedo to get to the arena, and I had my keys, I had my phones, I had everything. I was 147. So that means naked, I was about 144. I was less than when I cut.
Underweight. Yeah.
What the fuck? Then I look at my coach, and I had my brother and my other coach Cyril with me, and I just look at Fabio, and I'm like, just don't say it, because I don't want them to stress. Because if you bring people to a war with you and they're stressed, you're gonna feel that stress. I'm like, nah, it's okay. I feel good. No worry. Fabio was like, yeah, I know, but Fabio knows. So I'm feeling like shit. Getting to the cage, first minute went good. It was a cool fight. I watched it once. I fucking hate watching myself fight because I cringe, because I'm like, you should have done that. You should have done that. But I
Right.
watched it, and I'm like, man, what? And you can see me coming back to the stool in between rounds, and I'm hitting my body. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm there. I see everything, but my body and my mind is not reacting as fast as it should. So there's a saying that I like. It goes, when the mind is nowhere, the mind is everywhere. Which means if you're not focused on one thing, you're focused on everything. That's happening in this high intensity and high adrenaline moment. So I'm walking back and I'm hitting my body. I'm like, what the fuck? My body's not responding at all. I'm like, Nathaniel is not a big guy, and I cannot move him. Like, I tossed around Shane Burgos a month and a half ago, and now I can't even get up. What the fuck's going on? So I watched the fight, and I was like, man, I did good for someone who was physically destroyed like that.
Right.
But it stuck to me. I'm like, fuck, you're stupid. You knew you shouldn't. It was only to fight in Paris. I was like, yeah, I should go. I
Right.
should. Everybody around was telling me, Charles, you should think about it. But fuck, I'm a risk taker. So yeah, went in that fight, fought well, but my body was just destroyed. And now I heard a very good nutritionist to help me with this camp with Crohn. I rehydrated to 165, which is 20 pounds of rehydration in a matter of 15 hours, which is tremendous. I felt good. I felt fucking strong against Crohn. Like I felt wonderful in that fight. But yeah, that fucking Paris fight was pissed me off. That's why I couldn't sleep. I was like, fuck, man. I but that's life. Like I said, it's personal hardship. It's not life hardship. So
Right.
good.
You said coming out of the fight with Crone, which was a tremendous performance, and I want to, I mean, obviously as a someone that watches this sport, but also someone that has spoken to you many times, I know your style, I know the way you like to fight, and
Uh-huh.
so now that I have you here, I want to commend you on a very tactical, a very smart, a very professional approach. I'm sure it was hard as shit to learn, to hold yourself to. Let's get
Yeah,
through that part first, because it was atypical of Charles Jourdain,
yeah,
but exactly how you needed to face Chrome Gracie. What's it
yeah.
like preparing for that and executing?
The training camp was not the most exciting because I had plenty of fucking grapplers from the B team. His name is P.O. Leclerc. He's the guy that trains with Craig Jones and all these guys
Yep.
from that were formerly Danaher Death Squad. I had these guys coming up. I had Matteo Vogel, fellow Canadian
Yep.
from Ottawa, who would always come down to spar, and I'm gonna help him for his preparation, also for Contender
Contender
Series.
series this summer. Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just fucking awful having these guys. Starts with my back, had big, like it was a fucking nightmare. But everything I put myself through made sure that the performance that I put on was good. My boxing was great. I was fast. I was hitting, not getting hit. I was hitting fast and strong. So yeah, the preparation was very specific, and I really enjoyed the performance. But for sure, the training camp was one of the hardest one I've had. Well, yeah, it was very difficult, and I remember just reading the Art of War from Sun Tzu, and the strategy tactics wins battle. I don't care how much the fan loved it. I don't care about how much highlight it's gonna be. Uh, if there's no victory, there's nothing. So I didn't have this approach back then, but now I turned 27. and I'm born on the 27th, which means this year is my lucky year, let's
Yep.
say. So I want to make sure, man, I cannot drop the ball on this. I'm finding a master, and the thing with a master is most of the time you know what they're gonna do, but they can surprise you with one fucking me. What I didn't expect, what I thought that would be very dangerous, is when he pulls guard, try to go inside and try to attack my legs because I'm a kicker, because I'm someone who uses my leg a lot. Like I was expecting him to, in those 3 years, have changed his game a lot, but he didn't. He was always that Kimura armbar guillotine guy, and he didn't do anything that surprised us. But we performed, we prepared for the worst case scenario. So every time he was jumping guard, I was walking back to the cage, putting his back against the fence, because once you got your head pulled up like that against the cage, it's very hard for you to use your hips. Reducing your hip mobility is preventing any harm attacks, armbar, kimura, um, omoplata. Omoplata is almost impossible against the cage. Guillotine is very hard against the cage. You need leverage, so you need to turn your body. So I was always making sure his body was centered, keeping the under control of the biceps, dropping elbows on his core in order to bring a little bit of his cardio down. I think the hardest thing from this side was not kicking. I kicked him a little bit in the third round, but it was like most of my fights that I got taken down, which is my Achilles heel. That's what you
Right.
guys call it,
Yep.
Achilles heel. Uh, was not from me not having proper wrestling ability. It's from me overdoing stupid shit that I shouldn't be doing because I'm winning the fucking round. So taking a step back was very good. Those 8 months of me, like I said, it was not a pause. I was training my ass off. I think I was training more than I've ever trained in the last 8 months. But I took a break from performance because I'm like, okay, there's some things I need to change, and I think with me applying proper strategy and tactics, I can beat a lot of these guys in the top 15, a lot of these guys in the top 30. So I'm 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 very happy for what's next, and you're good. Of course, you guys are gonna see a more strategic, less chaotic, but there's still gonna be a lot of power, a lot of kicks, a lot of wild shit. But it needs to be a little bit under control.
You said in your post fight interview with Joe that I'm an
Yeah.
immature fighter and it shows in my record. Can
Yes.
you explain to me what you, I think I know what you mean. And I heard it and was like, okay, I get what he's saying. And first and foremost, I appreciate that self understanding and that acknowledgement. But what did you mean by that for yourself in terms of both that performance and your career to date?
I mean, if I would have been more mature, I wouldn't have chosen the path of. Sorry, this little guy wants to chill. Um, I I would have transformed that close decision with Burgos to a win. I would have changed that Philly one, of course, the Koulibaly one. This thing, I can't fucking believe they gave it they gave a draw for it. But like, if you take those three fights and switched up my record. Erosa would they beat me?
Right.
Erosa would they beat me fair and square. I don't care about the thing that was in shape or whatever. I showed up. He did his job. I didn't, and Erosa took the fight on a week and a half, and fucking Darce choked me.
You got
Those two
those
are
long
wins.
arms out there.
Yeah, fuck man, this guy was fun to fight. Very fun to fight. But yeah, those three ones, the Kubilao, the Philly, and the Burgos, would switch up my records tremendously. I think I would be what, 8 and
Eight
3.
and, yeah,
8,
8-3.
yeah, I would be 8-3 in the UFC. And I know it's weird, but I'm just making those speculation of what would have happened if I just was a
Yeah.
little bit more smart in my approach. And there was the last the short notice UFC debut against Desmond Green. That for me, it was like, it was a break the ice, but it was not a featherweight fight. So for
Right.
me, I don't care about that one. And so yeah, like my records would be in my mind if I was. I don't regret anything, but like all the speculation of me just taking a back step and be like, man, it could have went that way.
Right.
But speculation don't get you anywhere. But it's still something that I'm like, that made me understand that if I improve and I apply strategy and tactics, I could have doubled my purse almost 3 times,
Right.
about the 3 losses. And yeah, I just, yeah, you need to make step backs. You need to analyze, like, your memory. People don't use their memory properly, I think. It's something that Jordan Peterson, which I'm a big fan of, on many topics, and he said memory, used improperly, can make you depressed, can make you think about things in the wrong way and drag you down. But if it used properly, is a tool to remember what you shouldn't do in certain situation, what you should and shouldn't do in certain situations. Sorry, my my English. And so yeah, that's something I really enjoyed listening to, and I was like, man, it's right. I'll use my memory of my past experience to make sure I don't make similar mistakes, and I grow from it. And yeah, led me to this Charles Jourdain 2.0, as much as I hate saying that.
Well, but I mean, it's all part of the journey, right? It's all part of the development,
Yes.
both as a person, as a professional, whatever it
Yeah.
is that gets us there, it gets us there. And I know from talking to you over the years that it's not about the past, it's about the present and then the future. And
Yes, sir.
so however we get where we get to, that's the important part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You phrased it more properly than me.
Before we get into some more fight stuff, some more career stuff, a couple other quick sort of fun ones for people that don't understand, for people that don't know, that have never enjoyed it, experienced it, appreciate it. Tell the folks why Saint Hubert is an absolute must have if you're in the province of Quebec or neighboring Ontario cities, like where all of my family grew up in Cornwall.
Saint Hubert, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they're good. They make a chicken poutine, and their chicken is very good. It's a very good branch of restaurant. My brother Etienne used to work for them as a delivery guy, and one time he came by at home with the delivery car, and I wanted to mess with him, so I was like 14, and I took the car and I ran away with it, but not far, just fucking 3 houses down the road. And I turned the corner and he got out and the car wasn't there anymore. And I just came back, hey, what's the joke? He wanted to beat the shit out of me. Good thing I run more than him. But yeah, so it's a they make delivery and they're good. But the poutine with the chicken, phenomenal, phenomenal. Good restaurant. I like it.
It's the sauce to me that was always the thing. That was always the hook. It's sort
Yeah,
of like, so for, I don't know if they have Swiss Chalet in America or not, but it's sort of just like a fire roasted chicken
yeah,
that's really juicy, really good. And then there's always just this, it's the sauce that always did it
yeah.
for
And
me.
barbecue sauce is
Yeah.
well. They even sell packages.
Yep.
And when we went to Paris, my manager Stefan was there, and he actually asked Louis to bring him some package. So when he go left and right in other countries, he would make people taste the sauce with poutine, and yeah. So it's a worldwide thing.
It's so good. It's so good. Now I'm
Mm.
craving Saint Hubert, and I'm sure I can find it somewhere. You've got the bandana on, you've got the twin earrings. I have them as well. You have expressed to me in our conversations over the years about the pirate life, la
Uh,
piraterie. Explain it to
mhm.
me. What's the origin? What's the mindset of it that speaks to you so much?
Yes. So for me, la piraterie means freedom. So people say, "Are you proud to be a Canadian representative?" Of course I am, but I'm representing whoever wants to be represented. So that's just how I see it. More than like one religion, one country, one culture, one this, one that. No, it's I'm a citizen of the world, and I take my boat and I navigate the way I want. And the thing with the pirate is, you choose your crew. You choose the people you want to be around with. Like there can be some family members that are close. There can be some family members that are far. There can be some friends that are close, some friends that are far. But if you take your boat, they're gonna be there with you, and they're gonna ride with you. And no, just for me, it represents freedom. Because both of my parents uh, introduced me to free will more than anything. They never chose for us. They had four boys. Like they cannot say, "Oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that." They just said, "Do whatever the fuck you want, but do it properly." That's the only thing they ask of us. So I see a lot of parents saying, throwing don'ts and do's and don'ts and do's and don'ts at those young children, and you're already putting them in some sort of cage, some sort of a very singular spectrum of life. And I was very fortunate to not have that. So this is why I'm representing it as a. It's I'm a big fan of Batman movies, of course, the one with Christian Bale, and he said, "As a man, I can be destroyed, uh, but as a symbol, I can be." This is a very intense speech. It's when he's in the jet, when he comes back from the jail and the place where he trained with Ras Al Ghul, and everything is in the jet with what's his name, his best man, what's his name, Alfred.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Alfred. So he's talking to him and he's saying, yeah, as a symbol I can be undestructible. I can be something that
right.
people relies on and people get inspired with. So yeah, Charles is the human, the Piratrie is the symbol, and I think it's getting bigger than I expected. I went to the show. We thought people have bandanas, people wearing my merch, people saying Piratrie and everything, and I'm like, wow, I'm very happy that this symbol can be brought on to other people, meaning that I don't belong. I belong wherever I want to go more than I belong to this. I belong to that. So yeah, I know UFC Canada don't like when I say that, but I'm a from the PR. But I love everybody that wants to be supported. I cannot say, oh, I'm a Canadian, therefore you're Canadian, therefore you need to
Right.
support me. You support me if you want to support me, and if you don't want to enjoy my stuff and you think I'm going overboard with my stories and my things online, well, it's all up to you to just unfollow me. I don't think I deserve any hate for having fun through my social media, which is something that I don't get. There's like 2%, but man, I receive message every, like yesterday I put a dumb stuff online and guys say to me, it's like, bro, every time I wake up, I hope you post something because you make me laugh every day. I'm like,
Right.
wow, this is so cool to hear that. And it's not one person. I receive, man, I would show you my DMs. You would laugh. You have so much. People are as funny as me, and I really feel like all the people who are following me have the same mindset that like we just don't care. Like we're not mean person. We can laugh about everything. Like who are you to tell me what's funny and what's not? Of course, there's some subject that are controversial
Yeah.
that can bring controversy. But I mean, I'm not an asshole. I'm not a mean guy. I don't hate women. I don't hate fat girls or like whatever they want to put me through as a hateful man. I'm like, man, I don't have time to hate. Hate is too much time consuming for me to have in my life.
You do enjoy your social media. We will plug it towards the end of the show. It is listen, it's a ride. Anybody that follows him, anybody that eventually follows him, it is a ride. Just that's the only, like, go into it just knowing that it's all that smiling, laughing, giggling face right there on the other side of the camera. That's what it's all about, is to get that reaction all the
Yeah,
time. It's a ride. That's
yeah,
the only way I can explain it. You are a huge anime fan. You have anime tattoos.
yes,
I
sir.
saw a thing earlier on your Instagram of like, when I'm feeling, I need a break, I go out in the sun and I read, and you're reading Berserker. What is it about
Yes,
anime that speaks to you, that connected to you at an early age and continues to be a thing that is prevalent part of your life?
yes. It all comes like anime. First of all, are from Japan, and Japan is a very proud country. A country that has a very high standards for their students, the people who live there. It's a very different mentality, and like everything that's around like the woke areas is not very big over there. They don't like they won't give medals for to the last guy who win the race, let's say. That I mean, they're very pushing a lot self development, um, encouraging very traditional values that we're kind of losing these days, especially. I was a young man not long ago, and I see some stuff going around, and it's not. I'm not the father of nobody, but I'm like, man, even though you benefit from a good life, you should voluntarily put yourself through some hardship in order to grow from it, because nothing grows from weak soil and the weak, no sun, no going outside, no striving for something. Other than that, you're just going to be someone who always take from other people, but you should be someone who could have the ability to provide. So all of that brought me to this culture of Japanese anime from back then, when I started with Dragon Ball, which everybody knows. Then led me to Naruto, which is a beautiful story. And people are like, oh, because it's animated, it's for kids. I'm like, wait a second, this is not true. It's just that the animated culture is very big over there, and they have very intense, whatever type of things you're into, they can do it, but just animated. But so basically, it's
Right.
like listening to a story, but with animation. So, but I'm a big manga reader as well. I think every time you listen to one of their stories, it's all about someone who's facing tremendous amount of hardship and find their way to build back stronger. Whatever, if it's Naruto or there's one that's called the Death Note, which is
Yep.
a big police investigation about a kid who's has this god complex, and he can kill people by writing their name, and he's very smart, he's very wit. So every anime that I watch, there's some that are good, there's some that are incredible. There's some that are as good as I expected them to be, but there's actually three ones. There's Dragon Ball, who's beautiful in terms of animation. The character development is good. Naruto, the story is incredible. You need to take into consideration that it's something that took the writer 20 years to write. So imagine like something that takes this amount of time is this amount of work as well put into. And there's also the One Piece. One Piece is just incredibly beautiful story that is not yet to be finished, and he's been writing it for 25 years now. um, yeah, so just the anime culture is just very proud, very traditional in terms of the values they want to push through the story. So that's why it gets to me. I really enjoyed watching it. Berserk is intense. It's a roller coaster of intensity, as a manga. There's one called Vinland Saga that I would highly recommend to people. It's basically a kid who's been raised into this Viking environment, killing everybody, and the more he grows, because his father died when he was young, and his father was trying to keep him away from this war life because he was a warrior back then as well. And you see the first season is just him killing everybody. He wants revenge. He's bearing all those hateful uh, emotions inside of him, and everything that's negative. And he gets to a point where he reaches his goal by eliminating someone, and he's like, man, this life is terrible, because he's carrying all the nightmares of everything he's done as a child. Everybody's killed, nah, nah, nah. So now he's going into that transcending path where he wants to go to a place where there's no war, nah, nah. So it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful to see this amount of character development, the way it's written, the animations are good, the manga is great as well. So yeah, uh, sorry,
Yeah.
I went a little bit offside with it, but
You
just
never have to
I,
apologize. That's the purpose of this show, is to just be able to go on tangents and be able to talk through things as much as we want. In
yes sir.
addition to social media enjoyment, anime and manga, what are the other secret hobbies, secret talents, secret skills of Charles Jourdain that people may not know? Can you cook? Are you a good dancer? Can you sing? What else have we got?
Uh, I'm a certified nunchuck
Yep.
champion. No, I'm not certified, but yeah, man, I just do stuff outside. I play games a lot, especially after a fight. I'm a video game guy. I play a lot when I'm off cam. Well, not off cam, but off. Let's say I'm having a fight in 2 months. I'm gonna play less, but it's a way to put my mind away. Other than that, like yesterday, I was my Instagram post. You saw me. I was shooting bows, and I shoot bows. I hunt. I have fun with my nunchucks. I'm weird, man.
Hang out with
But
your dog, hang out with your girl.
hang out with the dog, exactly, on this beautiful land I'm sitting on. So yeah, I'm a happy man. I'm living the way I want to live, and yeah, next hobby is gonna be building a family in the next year. So wish me luck. I heard it's not a good idea, but I'm the kind of guy who wants to find out for myself.
I'm closing in on 45 and don't have any kids. There was never the plan to for the last
Look
bunch
at
of years. No plan to
look at
have kids. So look,
you.
I'm not the guy to ask about this. I'm not the guy to give advice.
You know why it's scary? Because look how happy you look. Every time I talk to you, you're always happy, always smiling, everything. And every time I see people with kids, they're like, "Yeah, it's the best thing in the world," and
So
they have like all these pouch in their eyes. So
so the
yeah,
happy and smiling goes to it is 8:30 in the morning. I'm at home in a pair of sweatpants talking to a UFC fighter and somebody pays me for this stuff. Like that's the happy. I wake up every morning, and as much as there is plenty to be miserable, as we've talked about throughout, as much as there is stuff that is challenging and difficult and takes
Mhm.
work and effort and all of those things, at the end of the day, I get to get up, hang out with my dog, see my beautiful wife, been together for 17 years. I work
Cheers.
from home. I talk to athletes and coaches and people around the sport I love every day. What is there for me not to be smiling and happy about?
I love how you phrased it that way. No, you founded something, you went after it, and you got it. I mean, you. And one thing that money can buy is peace, and you seem to have peace, and it's
I'm
something.
trying to get there. It's taken a long time. I'm trying to
um,
get there.
yeah, my father said it took me 64 years in order to learn how to have peace. Now that is,
Yeah.
it's funny because now it is that I think it's because he's divorced. He divorced my mom like 2 3 years ago, and then I think that's why he he said his peace come from. But
Every
yeah, he said it takes
everybody
time.
finds peace their own way.
No, but also you mentioned your dog, and there was a saying, another one that I really like is, "The more I spend time with human, the more I love my dog." And I was like, "Yeah, that's true."
And my dog is a pain in my ass, and he's stubborn, and he's 7 months we've had him, and we're still trying to figure him out, but he's still great. He's still terrific, and I will spend every day with him that he will let me.
Cheers to
You
that.
you mentioned me finding setting there you go. Speaking of dogs, you mentioned me sort of setting goals for myself and a plan for myself in going back and prepping for this. Read back some of the stuff we've done together for UFC.com over the years. You laid out some names back a few years ago of guys you would like to fight, and you even phrased it as like people won't understand how difficult it is to face a guy like Shane Burgos, but this guy's a fucking monster. You've actually fought a few of those people.
Yeah,
And one of the names that keeps popping up is Edson Barbosa. What
yeah.
is it about that fight that excites you so much and intrigues you so much?
Uh, uh, it's the striking department. It's the striking. Like if I wouldn't be in the UFC, I would be in Glory, or I would be in One doing kickboxing. Kickboxing was my first love, Muay Thai as well, and this is what I would do. So knowing that I can face one of the guy they call one of the best strikers in UFC and be able to trade with this guy, I would be honored by that, because I sparred a lot of Glory guys, very high ranked Glory guys, and I had this occasion. It was a very big privilege, and I'm like, man, I can take on these guys. My striking is to this point. I'm not throwing myself some flowers, but I'm going with the fact that I've been able to train with these guys and sparred with a good intensity. And I was like, man, I'm good. I'm a very good striker, because I don't know, like I'm a good striker, let's say for MMA, but when it comes to Glory and all those bigger worldwide organization, how should I fare? And I fare pretty good. So knowing that I could trade with Edson would be just a little thing that you write on your check mark. I know people, it's always belt, 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 but me, I have all these small things that I want, like fighting a Gracie. This is just a beautiful
Right.
thing to have
Right.
resume, a beautiful thing. By the way, it's not a green screen, guys. Imagine if I touch that. It looks like a green screen.
That's actually where you are staying. It's
Yes,
lovely.
yes, yeah. So yeah, just those little checkpoints, and fighting Edson Barbosa would be one of these checkpoints.
What are some of the other ones that are on that list? Fighting a Gracie was one. Edson Barbosa is one that hopefully we will get at some point. What else is there?
Mike Soloway. Like I have this imaginary hit list, let's say, and I would love to fight Edson all the way. Zombie is too much my friend now for him to be on the list, man. It's crazy. Like I didn't want to bother him during fight week because he was there, but he was always the one coming up to me and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And it was looking getting pads. It was so nice because I met it in Busan when we fought in
Right.
Korea, and we were in the same locker room. And me in my mind, like you're there, you're the Korean zombie, like you're big. And I was like, "Hey man, I'm super shy." I'm asking him for a picture, and he's like, "Yeah, of course, my friend." And after the picture, every time I would see him, he would come by. And one time I was on my phone with my brother Etienne. I'm like, someone's gonna pass. You're gonna recognize him because he's a fan of it. So I'm sitting like this, and then he comes by. Hello, how are you? And then he started talking with my brother, and I was like, oh, I didn't want to bother him, you know. And no, the whole week, man, I saw him at restaurants. Every time we saw each other, he would come by and like we would flash his hand, fake takedown in me and everything. So I was like, man, this guy is so cool. And I grew up watching this guy. When I said I
Yep.
was going to La Cage aux Sports, I went to La Cage aux Sports to watch him fight Jose Aldo for the belt.
Right.
Like I watched this guy grew up, and now I'm in UFC, and he's in my locker room, and we're chilling together. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Burgos, I knew I would fight him. I'm gonna fight Tuporio one day. I'm gonna fight all the way Barbosa. Those are like the kind of guys that you see them, and you're like, we're gonna fight one day. Also, Billy Quarantillo, like I saw him, and then he was there with Frivola, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I'm like, we're gonna fight one day. And they,
Yeah.
just funny and interaction and funny stuff. Billy Q is good. It's a big guy. It was good energy, but I don't have to hate anybody to fight them.
Right.
And from all the guys that I've listed, I don't hate any of them. They're all fighters like me who are trying to support themselves or support their family. So I don't have any hate. I don't understand always that thing that I need to hate someone. I don't. I don't have time to hate. It's boring.
So we're recording this on June 2nd. It will come out a little later in the month. So it will be after UFC 289 out here in Vancouver. You have yet to fight in Canada in the UFC. I know, obviously, as we talked about earlier, it is the pirate life. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily just Canadian, but is there something about getting one in Canada, and I would assume maybe home province, get one in Montreal that speaks to you still?
I cannot carry a Montreal card, unfortunately. Quebec media doesn't like me because they picture me as this far right wing extremist, misogynistic, racist man. So for me to fill up an arena, the media wouldn't be on my side. They prefer to talk about boxing, where the super champion of Quebec fought this 0-13 Mexican guy for the world championship. Like boxing is a fucking joke in Quebec. But like there's 7 pages. Like the medias are hockey, which I understand. But like this player renovated his Range Rover. Like shouldn't have a fucking page on there. No one gives a fuck. And when it comes to boxing, it's always Chocolatino Gonzalez, 3 victories, 70 defeat in the first round, and he's fighting this champion from Quebec, and you're like, what? This is not a fight. This is just someone who's gonna beat up someone. Anyway, so I cannot carry a card on Montreal as
Well, you could
much
be
as
a
I
part
would.
of a card in Montreal.
I could be part of a card in Montreal. That would be tremendous. But let's say, do you want me to fill a Bell Center? And by the way, did you know that when George was fighting, more than 80% of the tickets were people from Ontario? That's how
Yes.
low the media in Quebec are. The media in Quebec don't give a fuck about our sport. They never did because they're not getting money from Dana White, like the people from here. When it comes to boxing and hockey, they're getting paid a shitload of money then to make sure that they keep them relevant. So if you tell me Toronto, anytime.
Okay.
Toronto would be the sickest card they would ever do. I was actually sad that Vancouver was so close. And I saw two featherweights. I think the Gavin Tucker one and another fight. I think it was Ige, or maybe I'm wrong. There was a two featherweight fight that dropped off, and then I just received text from my manager. Don't even think about it. I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I made fun of the press conference. The guy was like, "Oh, do you think you're gonna go do a quick turnaround?" I'm like, no, no, don't start asking me about that shit, because I'm gonna think about it and I'm gonna do it.
Right.
So no,
Right.
I need my break, but maybe October, what they're gonna say, I don't know. But if there's something back in Canada, of course, I would love to be part of it. That's another check mark. UFC Canada would be sick for me.
Yeah. Hakeem Dawodu was supposed to fight Lucas Almeida. That fell
Yeah,
out. Hakeem had to withdraw. Lucas Almeida
yeah,
now fighting a week after against Pat Sabatini. You
yeah. Why
mentioned
did them on the card?
why didn't they keep
What?
him on the card? I think it's
Yeah,
just a timing thing of getting Pat in there as the replacement. It was, I think,
no,
four
but Pat
four
Pat
weeks.
was fighting. Pat was fighting Tucker. They were both scheduled on
Right.
that card. So that's why when my coach Fabio told me, yeah, they moved it. I'm like, why they moved it? Maybe they want to save it for another card. I
Maybe.
don't know, but man, the card is good. But I get it that you want to put all the Canadians in there. But you, like, if it wouldn't be for Dariush and Oliveira,
Yeah.
would be a hard card. It's a very hard card. Even the UFC 288 was hard. Now 289 is hard. 290 and 91 are
Crazy.
cards. But I get it. They're testing the water, and they want to see how the market will be. And I hope they're gonna have a positive market. I don't know about the tickets now right now in Vancouver. I'm gonna be there, but you're gonna be there.
Of course. It's like 45 minutes down
Boom!
the road.
Let's go.
I'll be there all
Perfect.
week.
Yes, sir. I'll be there
All
with you.
right.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'll be there, and let's keep in touch. We can arrange
Yeah,
something fun.
of
And
course.
so yeah, Vancouver
I'm
is
not
gonna be
showing
fun.
up on Charles Jourdain's social media. I ain't making Instagram appearances. I ain't about that life. Not with you. I'm
It's
not
bad
getting I'm not
publicity,
I'm not
Kira.
getting shot with arrows.
All right, we're gonna do a nunchuck battles.
All right. Well, figure like you will win that battle. I assure you of that. You mentioned in there your manager telling you, hey, don't even think about it. What is sort of the timeline for you, the idea for you, if you can map out sort of when, obviously the who is Edson Barbosa, ideally, when will people see you back in the octagon if you get your sort of call of the shots here?
So basically, how it happens in UFC, you get normally 3 fights or 4 fights contract, right? And me, I'm on the first fight of my contract. When they want to give you the opportunity to raise your stock, which would mean a rank fight, would be normally on the third fight of your contract. So now I would need to fight someone who's more around the, I think I'm number 18 or something. I don't know the exact number, but something surrounded the 20 to 16 mark for the next opponent. They already gave me a name option, but it was for August. But they said you might be interested in waiting for you. They asked me for Paris. I said no. I'm not going to Paris again. Schedule doesn't work, and I'm taking a break maybe until end of September, start of October, because I need to take care of some unfortunate thing here that happened a year ago. Very immature, very stupid thing. Uh, I won't say it because now it's in court. Didn't hurt anybody, of course, but it was a very unfortunate thing. And now I got some dude who wants probably my money or something after me. So yeah, it's stupid stuff, and just need to take care of that. Take care of other couple things. I'm in the process of buying my own land. So yeah, I need to fix a couple things. Take my time in between fights. Make sure I come back. And by the way, when I'm saying I'm taking care of all those things, I'm training. I'm not training.
Right.
I'm not preparing for a specific opponent, but I'm in the. I put my gi on. I do a lot of jujitsu. I do my boxing. I do everything. I'm still 100% active in the gym, but yeah, need to take care of some stuff before I get in another specific opponent for maybe start of October.
You mentioned not getting into specifics, so we will leave the pending litigation alone. I will
Yeah.
just say, as both a fan and someone that has come to develop a little bit of a relationship with you, stop
Yes,
doing
sir.
stupid shit that gets you in court.
Please. You're right. You're 100%
We
right.
we
Uh,
need you
with the
around
mistake.
making people laugh on social media and fighting in octagons.
Yeah, I thank you for this
It's
advice.
yeah, it's
Oh, but it like to be frank, it happened a year and a half ago, and I'm actually very surprised. Even the police officer that I met was very surprised that this thing would come back out of fucking nowhere, and I'm surely blaming the fact that I gained a lot of media attention in the last 2 3 let's say year, because I have
yeah.
been fights and growing as a public figure. So I think this is what they're after, but it's understandable. I mean, I won't blame someone for trying shooting their shot.
We'll
But
we'll we'll have you back. We'll talk about it after
yeah,
everything is settled and resolved, and we
I,
can go through it at some point. You mentioned buying land. Buying land
yes,
means like full on, like moved out of mom and dad's long ago, got our own place, and now we're gonna build a place.
yeah, that's the goal. We want to buy a land and build our. We want to start with something small. We don't want to put like 800 G's on something that's already done, but gonna need like this not accustomed to what we like. So we prefer building something from either the ground or from a hold a home. My girlfriend is the manager of the
The
project.
projects, yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. Me, I get punched, I make money, and she makes sure, like we said at the start of this conversation, happy wife, happy life, and as long as she's happy, she's supporting me the best way she can, and yeah, that's the next process for the next month.
Well, I look forward to seeing that detailed over
Yes,
the
sir.
years on the social media. Tell people where they can follow you. Tell people how they can enjoy all of what you do before I let you get out of here and get on with your day.
So basically, just Instagram. I think is the platform that I'm most active. I like TikTok as well. I have a lot of followers on TikTok. Facebook is more of my French fellow place, because this is where my following comes from. So yeah, just through social media, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't follow it. I won't pressure anybody. I'm just an easygoing guy who's doing his best and speaking with people I like. So that's it.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. It has been
Thank
a
you.
joy to get to know you, get to cover your ascent in the UFC, get to continue doing this. I look forward to it in the future. I appreciate your time, my friend. For Charles, I'm Spencer. This has been a conversation with. We'll see you next time.